Hello learners, Namaskar. I am Pragya welcoming you in your YouTube channel English Seeker. Today I will discuss about the second chapter of First Flight, and that is Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. So the very first I want to tell you that this extract which is given in your syllabus has been taken from the autobiography of Nelson Mandela, and the title of that autobiography is Long Walk to Freedom. So the very first we will see a little bit about Nelson Mandela, then we will discuss about the chapter. So let's start. Nelson Mandela, who was born in 1918 and died in 2013, was the first black president of South Africa. When he was in his 20s, Nelson Mandela got involved in the apartheid movement. He joined the African National Congress in 1942 and campaigned non-violently against the South African government and its racist policies. In 1962, Mandela was imprisoned for his anti-government activities. He spent 27 years in prison and was released in 1990. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his fight against the apartheid system. If I will discuss about the chapter, so as I told you that this is the most important chapter of your syllabus, so I divided this chapter into 9 headings. Through these headings you can understood this chapter in a much more better way. So the headings are swearing in, the speech, display of military forces, overwhelmed, his convictions, duties of a man, the meaning of freedom, the African National Congress, and the last one is the oppressor and the oppressed. So I will tell you that from where our first heading is going to be start. So for this you have to go on the text. Yes. So our first heading has been started from the very first line of first stanza, that is 10th May dawned bright. So here the heading may be swearing in. If you want, if you wish, you can mention those headings in your textbook to understand this chapter in a proper way. So let's start. What may be the summary of that portion? So the summary of that portion may be that the chapter begins with a description of the day of the inauguration. The ceremony was held at the sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union buildings on the 10th of May on a bright and sunny day. Many leaders from all over the world were present at the ceremony. On this day, the first democratic non-racial government was installed in South Africa. Mr. De Klerk was the first sworn in as the second deputy president, and then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as the first deputy president. Mr. Mandela was accompanied by his daughter Janani to the swearing in ceremony. He was sworn in as the first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule in South Africa. The second heading, just maybe, and the second heading is the speech, and it is going to be start from the word today. I mean the second stanza of page number 18, today all of us, and it is about the speech of Nelson Mandela which he delivered on that occasion. While the whole is the part of that, but I just want to tell you that what was his main speech. So in his speech he pledges to obey and uphold the constitution and to devote himself to the well-being of the republic. He promised to free the nation of poverty, deprivation, suffering, and any kind of discrimination. So it was about the swearing. The next heading, the third heading may be, the third heading is display of military forces, and it is just being started from the lines a few moments. Yes, from the chapter, from the page number 19 it is, and the words are a few moments later, we all. So, display of military forces, just because in these stanzas, I mean, just in these two stanzas, it is given as, I mean, the description is about the display of military forces. So, let's see how the display of military forces is happened there. So, after Nelson Mandela had been sworn in, a stream of powerful South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers rode in perfect formation over the Union buildings. This showed the loyalty of the military to the newly elected democratic government. The high ranking generals of the South African Defence Force and police who would have arrested him in the past saluted Mandela on this occasion. A caravan of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue, and gold of the new South African flag, and then the two national anthems were played. The white sang Nossi Siklel, I Africa, and the black sang the old anthem of the Republic, that was Die Stem, the old anthem of Republic. So after this, the next heading started, and that is about the overwhelmed, and you can see this on the day of. On the day of at page number 19, the last stanza of page number 19. So here you can mention the heading overwhelmed. So in this heading, we can say that on the day of inauguration, Mandela was overwhelmed by a sense of history. He was reminded of the Anglo-Boer War, the system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. This system had been replaced by the establishment of the democratic government after a long struggle. People like Yusuf Daddos, Bram Fisher, Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Lutley, and Robert Suvikev had just fought. So these names are also given here, and you can also see the picture of those. Robert Suvikev had fought against apartheid system. Mandela regretted that he had not been able to thank these countrymen for their sacrifices. From those comrades in the struggle, he had learned the meaning of courage. The next heading, the fifth heading, may be his convictions, and this heading is just going to be started. It is from these. Yes, it is from these comrades at page number 21. This stanza has been given, so you have to mention the heading, his convictions, from here. So let's see that what may be the summary of this heading. So Mandela believed that a brave man is not one who does not feel afraid, but one who conquers that fear. He held that it is not natural for people to hate, they have to learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite, and its opposite is hate. I hope that you have understood. And the further next heading may be duties of a man, and that heading may be start from the next stanza, and that is, in life every man has twin obligations. In life, I mean the last stanza of page number 21. You have here, you can mention the heading duties of a man. So let's see what may be here. So Mandela goes on to write that in life every man has twin obligations: an obligation to his family, to his parents, to his wife, and to his children, and the other obligation is towards his people, his community, and his country. As a young man, it was impossible for a man of his birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. He feels that he had not that he feels that he had not, or he did not fulfill the first obligation just at the time of fulfilling the second one. The next heading may be the meaning of freedom. So what is the meaning of freedom for him? You can see, you can mention this heading just from that stanza which is starting from, I was not born with a hunger to be free. So here you can mention the heading, the meaning of freedom. So let's see. As a child, you can say, as a child, Mandela did not really understand the meaning of freedom. It was only later, as a young man in Johannesburg, that he understood that the freedom he had in his boyhood was an illusion. As a student, he thought of freedom as being able to stay out at night, read what he pleased, and go where he chose. It was in Johannesburg that he began to yearn for the basic and honorable freedom of achieving his patriotism, of earning his keep, or marrying and having a family. The freedom not to be abstract in the lawful life. He saw that his brothers were not free either. The next heading may be the National African Congress, and this heading will start from the but then I slowly saw. Okay, so here you can mention the heading, the African National Congress, in your textbook. Okay, let's see what did he discuss here about what. So at here under this heading you can say that Mandela is telling that Mandela joined the African National Congress when the hunger of his own freedom became a greater hunger. It was the it was this desire for the freedom of his people and the realization that he could not live happily with the limited freedom that he himself had, which made him join the freedom movement. So here his goal is also given, and the last stanza may be the very last heading, and that is, I mean, that last heading is the oppressor and the oppressed, and it is just starting from the I knew that, I mean, just from the very last stanza of this chapter. So the oppressor and oppressed, in it he just want to convey that Mandela knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. He says, I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. So here he discussed about his perceptions about the oppressor and about the oppressed. So with it, this chapter has been completed. If I will say, then I may provide you the key points when I detailed this chapter completely to you under the headings. So it will help you a lot if you would see twice or thrice this chapter. So I will try to provide you this chapter's Hindi summary too. Till then, stay tuned and stay connected. Thank you all of you.